All right. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everybody. Welcome to another episode of TnT Sports. It's your host, Ty, and over here is my man, Thomas.
Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning. Got a little coffee here.
That's
Excited to have another episode.
yeah, that's right, man. We got a lot to talk about. There's two fun parts of the year. One is the fall, where it's like the end of, you know, baseball and basketball starts and football's in full gear. And then there's the middle or end of spring where you got baseball starting. Basketball is in playoff mode, hockey is in playoff mode,
Mhm.
and then football draft. So this is, two of the best times of the year, and we got plenty to talk about today. Um, One of the things that we're going to discuss, or the topics we're going to discuss today, are our teams. So the Cowboys and the Bills. We're going to talk about our draft needs. Then we're going to talk about we think one of the deepest positions in the draft, the tight end position. And then we're going to go into the NBA playoffs to discuss what's been going on. We're going to recap the play-in, and if you guys haven't been watching, you've missed some great games, exciting play, and it's just a start. And then we
Mhm.
now finally have our matchups, so we know who's playing in the playoffs. They start today at 1 o'clock or Saturday at 1 o'clock, and we're gonna give you a preview of those series. So let's get into it. So let's first start off with some of our draft team needs. Thomas, you got your Bills gear ready. So
Yes.
why don't you go in and share some of the needs of your team during this draft, which actually is a week from this coming Thursday, so it's coming up pretty quick.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and so we also did this topic because some of our viewers wanted us to talk about the teams because we have many viewers who are Bills and Dallas Cowboy fans.
Hmm.
So we wanted to honor their request as you guys, if you guys continue to ask us for stuff, we'll certainly put it on air. With the draft, one of my NFL draft, actually, I like both draft, NBA and NFL. Baseball is way too many rounds and players going to farm systems, and you don't even know where they are. Really like the NFL, but I'm gonna quote the great Bill Polian. He says the first two rounds are for
Hmm.
your ticket sales, and your mid rounds are to win championships, right?
Hmm.
A lot of people get in the glamour of the especially in the first round, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I can go down a list of busts, right? You're
Right.
trying to be too cute, or you're trying to be you find a combine warrior or whatever it is, and you're like, and then in the mid rounds, you actually pick football players, right? Those
Yeah.
undersized players that didn't make it, right? The Matt Milanos and different for the Bills I'm speaking about, right?
Hmm.
Just guys like that, Tron Johnson. But let's go talk about the Bills now. I do want to segue real quick to Brandon Beane. I like Brandon Beane, Big Baller Beane, they call him, right?
Hmm.
He's one of the top GMs, but his draft skills, a little shaky. The first draft he did was 2018. Remember, he joined right after the 2017 draft, so
Yeah.
he was part of the team in 2017, but he really did drafted 2018. That
Hmm.
draft was amazing. After that, you're like, oh my God, Brandon Beane, Josh Allen, Tremaine Edmonds, Tron Johnson,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you got Austin, Harrison Phillips. Also in that draft, Wyatt Teller, an all-pro guard he drafted. He traded, right?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
those guys are doing it, right? So and then after that it was kind of downhill. Now what the Bills need are something that Brandon Beane does not like to draft, okay?
Hmm.
Which is a wide receiver. Let me give you guys a little history of Brandon Beane's wide receivers drafted. 2018, Ray McLeod and Austin starts with his father used to play in NFL. But whatever it is, he's drafted two guys in the seventh round and sixth round.
Hmm.
So then after that was Isaiah Hodges, who now all of a sudden is a superstar in the Giants. Apparently, they will soon
Oh yeah.
realize it was just a quick blip. But I like Isaiah Hodges, sixth round. And then it was Gabe Davis in the fourth round and then Khalil Shakir in the fifth round. He has not drafted a wide receiver in the first three rounds.
Yeah.
He's drafted three running backs in the first two rounds and a tight
Hmm.
end in Dawson Knox. So what the Bills need are to me, everyone's talking about get an O line, get an O line, get an O line. Guys, once Broderick Jones gets picked, and then once Paris Johnson Jr. gets picked in a tackle, I like Darnell right. I like Darnell right,
Hmm.
but he's going to get drafted high. So are you going to like take a chance and draft a tackle that might be a fourth or fifth grade that should be in the second, third round, right? I mean, are you
Right.
going to take a chance? Or are you going to do what the Bengals do? Because who had the worst O line in 2 years, made it to two AFC championship games, and just draft a skill position, right? Like
Yeah.
Jamar Chase. So Brandon Beane needs to draft a wide receiver. That is just I don't know how many times we're gonna have to as Bills fans we get these bootleg I say receivers. Then
Yeah.
we had to get Cole Beasley, who couldn't even make it in Tampa, and John Brown, who was on a practice squad.
Yeah.
And we get the band together, and the band didn't do anything, right? Just
Hmm.
draft a wide receiver in the first round. I promise you, it'll make Josh Allen's life easier. The O line, you can get them in the late, you can get them in the mid rounds, the second, third round. Trust me. If you actually look at most Pro Bowl interior linemen, not many of them are first round picks, right? Except for Zach
Right.
Martin and Quentin Nelson, right? Other
Hmm.
than that, everybody's a late mid round pick, so you can get somebody like that. But get a wide receiver. Now, somebody I talked about before, Zach Flowers. Guys, I talked about him in the second podcast.
Yes.
All of a sudden, he's a number one. They're saying he's probably going to be the number two wide receiver picked
You
after
sure did talk
Jackson.
about him. Sure did talk
Eh,
about him.
my bad, guys. My bad. I was trying to have the Bills keep him, but he's going to get picked. They're saying he's going to get picked in his late teens, early 20s. But Jordan Addison all of a sudden is dropping. I don't know. There's something about his weight. He's not. I don't
Mm,
know. I mean, he's a slot guy. Do you take him? But if the four wide receivers are available, Hyatt from Tennessee, Addison and Zach Flowers and
mm,
Quentin Johnson. I know a lot of people don't like Quentin Johnson, but I watch TCU games. I get he drops balls. If those four guys are available, draft one of them. Just draft one of
mm,
them. You don't
mm,
need a running back, and you don't need to take a swing on an O lineman that's the fourth grade. Just take a running back. If not, I actually like Luke Musgrave. People are going to call me crazy saying let's draft
no.
a tight end in the first round,
Mm,
but we'll talk about it. I don't want to give you guys what I'm going to talk about, but watch the tight end position coming up, especially in college
mm,
football. All these tight ends are like wide receivers that were too big that turn to tight ends, right? So
yeah.
that's what the Bills really need is wide receivers. I would draft the wide receiver the first two rounds, maybe, and then O line. Do not pick a defensive player in this draft. I will lose my shit. I hate to say that. And you draft the D lineman in the first two rounds.
Yeah.
You got to get AJ and Boogie to actually produce. Those are
Yeah.
second round picks. All right. And
Yeah.
Greg Rousseau, first one. Get a wide receiver, a skill set. Okay.
Right.
Okay, Brandon Bean. Please listen to this podcast. Get a wide receiver. That's it for
Facts.
Buffalo.
All right. Well, that's some good insight. So, I have to say this. I mean, it does it, okay. How do I say this without sounding like I'm not grateful? I just know my team is never going to win a championship because we never can figure it all out. But what I will say in the last four drafts, we've done a really good job. Like, I can't, whoever's making the call now, which is Steven Jones, I'll give him credit. He's like, Dad, I got this.
Especially on
They've,
defense. Especially on
yeah, I mean,
defense.
so I'll go through quick. So like 2018, I was like, who the heck is Leighton Vander Esch? Like, why are we getting this guy at number 19? Pretty good. I mean, he's not the greatest player, but he's starting linebacker for us. We got him at number 19. We got Connor Williams, who's now,
Yep.
he's now gone, isn't he? Isn't he with you guys?
No, no, no. That's
Oh, no,
oh
oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
Connor. That's
Yeah,
Is it Connor McGovern is with
yeah,
you guys?
Connor McGovern. Williams is a center for Miami.
For
He's doing pretty good.
Miami, right? He
Yeah, yeah.
started for Miami, so he's there. McGovern, we got the next Jets. We got him in the third round the next year. We got Tony Pollard, you know that guy, fourth
Right.
round pick, 2019.
Yep.
That guy's a Pro Bowler with Tristan Hill, second round D tackle. Because that's I was gonna say, and I'll get to that point too.
Mhm.
Every year we try to pick a D tackle, but we never get a D tackle until late, and we're hoping these guys pan out, and it's still our weakness. So we tried Tristan Hill in 2019, second round. And he's on the team, but I don't know. We got Neville Gallimore in the third round in 2020. Not a bad player, but again, but that year I can't complain because first round pick we got CD Lamb, second round we got Trayvon Diggs, two All Pro
Yeah.
players. 2020, 2021, Michael Parsons, not bad.
Which I still don't understand how he got two guys, but that's besides the
Well, and
point.
I'm very happy about it. So again, we were like, oh, we need a corner, right? We're like, we need a corner, but you got Michael Parsons, you can figure out corner later. And then they picked Kelvin Joseph in the second round, which was terrible. I mean, he's still got time, but right now he's a free, I mean, he's a special teams player. And then last year, Tyler Smith. I was like, Tyler Smith, I knew who he was. I was like, man, maybe this is a reach, because he's got a lot of work to do. They have faith in their offensive lineman development, and that guy is a beast. So we did well there. Sam Williams, we drafted second round. He actually played pretty decent at the end
Yeah,
of the year. Um, and then,
I like Sam Williams. I like
and,
Sam Williams.
and the reason why I bring it up is what our need is this year. We lost Dalton Schultz, but we drafted a guy in the fourth round last year. His name's Jake Ferguson from Wisconsin. And I'm telling you guys, telling everybody that's like I listen to these guys are like Dallas needs to get a tight end. They need to get a tight end. They need a tight end. They really like this kid, Jake Ferguson. I'm not saying I don't like the tight ends that are in there, but I would not be surprised if they don't reach on tight ends. So with all that being said, what does Dallas need? Well, we have Tony Pollard, who's great, but he's hurt. And we lost Zeke, which I'm not upset about. I'm gonna miss Zeke, but we can't rely on him to be our bell cow. So we need a running back. Um, we do need to make sure we have production from the tight end position. And if they don't believe Jake Ferguson is a go-to guy and he can still be the second one because we play a lot of two tight end sets, um, then we should draft a tight end. And I'm a big fan of my man from Notre Dame. So
Oh,
Mayer.
Myers. Oh,
Yeah.
Myers. I mean, Mayer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's see if
Jason
we can.
Witten. They
Yep.
compare him to Jason Witten. I
Yeah.
mean, I
So
hate
I'm like,
doing
hey, I'm like we can take I can take Jason Witten part two all
it.
day. And we picked up Brandon Cooks. Gallup is coming off injury. We also need to draft a wide receiver though. I think we need to have depth in that position and we need to get guys that could play. So in the first round, I kind of think we need to go with skill with playmaker, some kind of playmaker, either running back, tight end, or wide receiver. Um, there's a lot of players out there. I am hoping and praying. I don't think it's gonna happen that we can get Bijan Robinson. It's not gonna happen because he's probably not gonna fall. So,
No, no. Yeah.
but but they could trade up. I mean, it's possible. If we don't get him, then I don't want them to draft a running back in the first round because this is such a deep running back class. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of running backs. Like I am a big fan of um and he's listed like way down of Deuce Vaughn. He's small. Um he's like
Oh, yeah.
5'5", 170 some pounds, but he's strong, he's quick. Like I just need people that are, be able to hit the hole. We're gonna give some holes that are physical. You got Tank Bigsby,
Which
you know.
who might be a sleeper. He's
Yep.
dropping, man. I don't even know why
Yeah.
though.
I don't get it either. I mean, you got the good guy. Of course, you got, Zach, Charbonnet. I mean, he's ridiculous from UCLA. I mean, he's a good player. Jameer Gibbs, he's small. He's more like
Tony
uh
Pollard.
yeah,
Of
what's the name? Who's from the guy from New Orleans? Um,
oh, you know Alvin Kamara?
yeah, he's a
Yeah.
he's a poor man's Alvin Kamara, which is not bad, but we don't need another shifty guy. We need a physical back. So, we'll see about that, but that's kind of the needs there. But we could talk about the tight end position. So
Yeah.
if we get a chance, to get a tight end, you got Michael Mayer, you mentioned Dalton Kincaid, who's amazing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Darnell Washington, who's like a man child. This guy's
Right.
like 6'7", 264, running like a 4'6", 4'7", whatever. It's like, are you human? Like who
Yeah.
does this? Luke Musgrave, Sam Laporta. So there's so many guys, and I know Thomas is getting more detail, but I think you can. I think in the way that the league is going, you look at the Super Bowl. Of course, you had great quarterbacks, but you also had great tight ends.
Hmm.
You have both ends. You got Kelsey, and you got um what's his name, Goddard, who was in
Yeah,
there
let's go.
just
Oh yeah, yeah.
he was just killing, which helps your quarterback tremendously. So I think that's probably the deepest position, and hopefully, if we didn't mention any of your teams, hopefully your team can get one of these guys, whatever round it is. So, go ahead, Thomas, you can break it down a little bit.
Yeah, so just to add more context, so Ty and I were talking about this, right? So
Mhm,
what's interesting about the NFL and NBA does this too, right? Which I
mhm,
really like, the nuance, right? Like it's like the new who's a new thing, right? So back in the day, running backs were, they're still not first round picks, but running backs were picked in the first round, like Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey. I can go down the list
mhm.
of them, right? The most famous one, Trent Richardson, which, oof, but anyways,
I
number 30.
know.
But so now they're like, well, we don't need running backs. We could do like, we could just basically do a running back by committee.
Yeah.
And then wide receivers for some reason weren't being first round picks. I remember to this day, I was talking to my friend Bob. I don't understand how AJ Brown and DK Metcalf dropped in the draft. I still don't understand, but that's what happened. So now you're seeing last year the first two rounds, the most wide receivers were picked because people
Hmm.
people are like, well, we need to do. Everyone's going in shotgun or pistol, three wide receiver sets, right?
Right.
Then you saw in the Super Bowl and before the Super Bowl, people forget Halen Hurts was hurt. Okay, for the Bengals. I think that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hayden Hurts it was
Hey.
hurt for the yeah. So he was
Yeah.
hurt for the Bengals.
Mhm.
Now he was killing Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo was getting killed, but he was killing Buffalo. And what are you starting seeing in NFL is that now teams are doing this bracket zone, right? So everyone's now playing nickel.
Mhm.
And the middle is being a little open. Why do you think, if you actually watched the Super Bowl, Travis Kelsey, I mean, he was eating them apart in between the sticks, right, for 10 to 15 yards.
Mhm.
Dallas Goddard was doing the same thing. So, and if San Fran actually had a quarterback to throw,
Right.
Kittles was about to
Yeah.
go off, right? So they're in that
Yeah. It
game.
was.
Yeah. So, what we're going to start seeing, my feeling is that, but teams are going to start using the tight end position a little bit more because now that everyone's so focused on bracket zone coverage, and kind of, the middle is getting open. And these Mike linebackers are not really, not doing as good a job. Not everyone has a great Mike linebacker to cover
To
everybody,
cover it,
right? So
right. Yeah.
yeah, so you'll start seeing it open, and that's what Miami's problem was. They weren't using Michael. Oh my God, I forgot his name.
I know.
But Ben said, but anyways, but they weren't using it. So what you start seeing it, and this is why I'm moving over to the draft, is that this is the best tight end class they were talking about they've seen in years. I don't know when before that was it maybe the Kittles, Noah Fan draft. I don't know that they're talking about that. So
Hmm.
um, what's interesting about this draft is that a lot of GMs think like this. This is what drives me crazy. I wish me and Ty and I were GMs. Well, I don't know about the value of a tight end. Should I go in the first round? If it's a football player, I don't care if they're picked number 5 or
Right.
50, right? Just pick a football player.
Right.
So people are going to say, well, I'm going to maybe pick the 6 rated tackle because I need a tackle instead of rating the number 1 or 2 tight end. That's probably going to be a difference maker. So
Yeah.
the first round, you either going to see several tight ends picked, or the second, third round, you're going to see 10. There's going to be a lot of tight ends drafted. It's going to be like when it's running on, running up, like, oh, the tight end got picked, I got to pick one. And
Hmm.
Ty, you mentioned some names, but a person I mean, I've said it over and over again. He plays for Oregon State. I like Luke Musgrave. He reminds me of a
Hmm.
Dallas Goddard with more athletic.
Hmm.
He can do all the routes, he can block.
Hmm.
And Darnell Washington is interesting too.
Yeah.
The only thing is unfortunately, why the best tight end in the country play for Bowers, plays for Georgia, who will be a
Yeah.
top 10 pick whenever he leaves right
Yeah.
next year.
Yes.
So he didn't get that
That
much
guy. Oof.
time. Oh yeah, yeah. He didn't get that much time, but I don't know how he will do in the NFL when it comes as a pass catcher. He's a
Hmm.
great inline blocker. And
Hmm.
that's another thing about these tight ends. All these tight ends can block. These are
Hmm.
not like these, get thrown around tight ends.
Right.
All of them can block. And the biggest problem, that's why they said the Bills. What was the Bills' biggest problem, guys?
Could not
The
run.
red zone.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
because unless it's Josh Allen, because Devin Singletary can't get one damn yard. Thank God he's gone.
Hmm.
If Josh Allen doesn't do a quarterback sneak or whatever,
Hmm.
his famous Superman Josh,
Hmm.
they can't score.
Right.
And then when they put Bobby Hart in as a sixth lineman, everyone knows they ain't going to pass to the Bobby Hart. So
Right.
if you put a 12 set, then you can either block. The defense doesn't know what's going on, and that's
Right.
where I feel the NFL is going to go. Maybe I'm predicting it, but I think the tight end position is going to be a position that's going to get a lot more recognition than was in the past.
No, I agree with you. I mean,
Mhm.
I think if you start to see the NFL is a copycat league and they adjust. So,
Right.
it's to be, remember, they used to just run the ball all the time. And then they came to West Coast offense and then it was run and shoot and then shotgun. And now, it's all these spread out offenses. But actually, the teams that are winning are running the ball now because defenses are getting lighter and trying to be quicker, like you said, to stop the pass. So if I have a tight end that can still be an elite receiver, but then is physical and can run, now you're stuck. What do I do? Do I put my run stopping team in or my pass stopping team? So if you got little quick linebackers to stop, the routes, I'm putting my big 6'7", 265-pound tight end in there, and I can run down your throat. And then till you have to adjust and put somebody
Right.
big, and now I can pass with that person too. So, like you said, I think these guys are like that Swiss Army knife that can give these offensive
Yeah.
coordinators, a different
Yeah.
different look.
I love the if you guys didn't watch it when Kittles threw TJ Edwards like in the playoffs, like I mean literally
Yeah,
moved the man over. I mean that's the stuff that you can't coach or like so.
facts. All right, so you got a little bit of draft needs. It's coming up soon. We're excited about the draft.
Yeah.
All right, and the next thing we're gonna discuss is the NBA playoffs. So the NBA, and I did get we get some questions that have been asked to me about this whole playoff play-in thing. Like it was, some people were confused. Like, okay, did they win? Are they out when they lost the game of the first game? Are they in, out? Who's the
Right.
10? Who's the 9? It is kind of confusion. So we'll do a recap. There were there was a 7-8 seed in the West. Seven was to start anyway. The play-in was the Lakers, and they
Yes.
played the Timberwolves in a classic game. You could
Classic meltdown, but go ahead,
yes,
yes.
yes. It was very intense. You could just tell, like if you watch basketball in the regular season, which is some people's issue with NBA, um, it was so much more physical in the playoffs and everybody's locking down and it wasn't all these easy fast breaks and all that stuff that happens in the regular season. You're gonna have to earn every point. And the Lakers were down like 10 or 11 points in the fourth quarter, and then like Thomas said, it was a meltdown. I think
Yeah.
the Timberwolves just they Timberwolved. That's a new
Right.
adjective. And they kind of blew it and got down to it was tie game. And at the end, LeBron found Dennis Schroeder for three with like 1.6 seconds left. He hits the three-pointer. They're up by three. You're like, oh man, Lakers just won the game. And then Anthony Davis with the inexcusable foul. He not only didn't cover his guy, which was the worst part, but then he tried to overcompensate.
Right.
Fouls a guy, Mike Conley for three. He makes three free throws, goes overtime, but ultimately the Lakers win. Um, so the Lakers are the seventh seed, and they get to play the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'll show that bracket later. Do you have any comment on that one, Thomas? About the,
Well, I'll tell you right now, the Dennis Schroeder showed up in that game. I
he
mean, he's
sure
not
did.
he ain't getting paid because he's but he showed up. So I don't mean to dive deep dive into it, but I'll talk about it later, but
Yeah.
Carl Anthony Towns is the most frustrating player in the NBA to
Hmm.
me. And I just gave him kudos before because I was like playing, but I don't know. Him and Ben Simmons need to see the same doctor. I don't get it. Ben Simmons can't make a layup, and this man doesn't want to shoot layups. It's just like
Yeah.
it's they're polar opposites. But we'll talk more about that. But also, I know people are going to give Anthony Edwards a lot of a lot of slack for shooting so much, but hey, man, you know what? If you're a shooter, you're a scorer, keep
Yeah.
shooting that rock. I respect you. You trying to win the game? At least you're
Yeah.
not shook to shoot, even though
Yeah.
he was 0 for 9 from the 3 point line.
Yeah, it was.
But
Yeah.
but, but,
Yeah.
but, but the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers. You called it. You said it too. You said the Lakers are going to be in the playoffs. So there you go.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked, but that's why you were shocked when I said it on here a few weeks ago. And I watched, I watch every game, and I'm watching them like, they're going to be a threat, and I think they
Yeah.
got a really good chance. We'll talk about that. So then the other game in the West was the 9-10. It was the Pelicans and the Thunder, and man, that was a really good game.
Yeah.
The Thunder won by a few points. I think the most telling thing is there's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey. You got two guys that are really young, and I mean both scored 30 plus points. Versatile, they can get their teammates involved.
Hmm.
It was a really impressive win for them, and also sad for the Pelicans because they have so much talent, and you see your boy out there doing windmill dunks and all the stuff in pregame. And he said he wasn't. This is Zion Williamson for anyone that I don't
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He decided he didn't want to play because he wanted to make sure that he was fully Zion. And he
But he was.
and first thing is anytime you start talking about yourself in the third person, you already know you're in trouble, okay? Zion wants to make sure that he's Zion. I'm like, what is he, Zava from you know
Ted
from
Lasso.
Ted Lasso? I'm like, come on now. So
All right.
but hey, I can't knock anybody because I do understand when you have an injury, you don't want to you can't you're not fully yourself. I mean, I'm not Zion, but like I had like this back injury and I was trying to play a couple weeks ago. Um, but this is the playoffs. You're supposed to help your team. So unfortunately, with that loss, the Pelicans are out. So
Yeah, that was my
they
team too, bro.
yep.
So, because sorry ass Lion, but yeah.
Yeah, so they're out, and so the last spot for the eighth was the loser, which was the Timberwolves, versus the Thunder, and they played last night. And man, it was an annihilation.
Right, yeah.
Um, the Timberwolves were like, all right, we're not playing. I was very impressed actually with their mental makeup, and it's interesting what Thomas was saying about what's his face, Anthony
Towns.
Edwards.
Oh,
Oh,
they
yeah,
heard.
Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards had a terrible game against the Lakers. And he was like, I don't care. I'm not gonna have a terrible game today. And you respect that. That's what your star's supposed to do. He's gonna come out and show, how he can play. He was aggressive to the rim. He made a couple of his shots. Good defense. And they just put people away. And Karl Anthony Towns actually decided to go to the basket.
Right.
And so he must have, at least sometimes, especially when you're a young team, sometimes you need to be humbled a little bit to get you moving forward.
But they
And
also were playing small ball, bro.
yeah,
So so I'm talking about the Thunder, but
yeah,
that's so
yeah,
we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah,
right. So with that, that was the West. So now the West, you have the Lakers as the 7th seed and the Timberwolves as the 8, which actually was how it was before the play-in. So that actually worked out okay. In the East, the play-in was the 7th seed was Miami, and the 8th seed was to start the play-in was the Atlanta Hawks, and they played. And Atlanta went in there and just punked
oh yeah.
Miami. I was shocked. I think Miami was shocked. Miami was like, all right, we beat these guys all the time. We're just gonna go beat them. And
Mm-hmm.
they,
Boy, if they play like that, whoo.
I know,
So,
they out rebounded them by like 28 or something crazy, like 64 to like 36. It
yeah,
was
but
embarrassing.
Boston better watch out. They play. I mean, just
I think, yeah, I think.
Boston's gonna win, but it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good series.
I think Atlanta, I think also think Miami was I don't know what they were doing. I don't think they were prepared to play because they got blitz in the first quarter and then they came back late, but then, they just didn't show up. So anyway,
Yeah.
they lost. And so Miami, I mean, so the first time I think that the eighth seed has beaten the seventh seed in the 7-8 game. So Atlanta is now the seventh seed and they play Boston. And then the other game was Chicago versus Toronto. And there was some controversy there where DeMar DeRozan's daughter was screaming at the free throws,
All right.
which Toronto shot 50% from the free throw line. So I'm not going to give her 100% credit, but I think it was part of it. I would be annoyed, but I'll put it like this. I'm happy that she's a fan, but I'd be annoyed as heck if I was there and this girl's screaming in my ear and I'm fitting. But you know what? I appreciate it because my daughter would be doing the same thing. She actually was trying to scream when she was watching the game. She was trying to scream in my living room. I'm like, Julia, what are you doing? Like,
But she
why are you
wasn't
screaming?
she wasn't screaming when those cats was missing layups. I'm just saying, but that's
Yeah,
another. So,
yeah.
it was I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we could say that, but
Hmm.
Toronto was missing a lot of. I mean, there was a lot of
Yeah,
shots that they missed. Come on, like
yeah.
and in
Another meltdown. They were down up
yeah,
19 points in the third quarter.
uh,
19 points at home
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
blow it.
and they shot. They didn't shoot too well either. But yeah, this
Nope.
so
So Toronto's out. Chicago got a chance to go play Miami. And the thing about Toronto, really quick, I don't want to spend too much time, but they're gonna have to make some moves. They're gonna have to do something
Zach
because
Levine is going to be Chicago. You talking about right?
no, Toronto. I was talking about Toronto.
Toronto. Oh, okay. Yeah.
They got a lot of talent. They're just gonna need to.
They got too many of the same players. Is the
Yes,
problem? Like,
you got you got five like Pascal Siakam type guys. Pascal, Precious
OG.
Achua,
Yeah,
OG,
yeah, yeah. Scotty
Barnes.
Barnes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
like I'm like how many 6'8"
and
guys can you?
Botcher and
Oh yeah, Boucher. Yeah, Boucher. Yeah,
Boucher. Yeah,
yeah. Chris Boucher.
yeah.
Yep.
They got way too many. Too many.
Yeah.
I forgot
So.
they had. I forgot they got Thaddeus Young on their team too.
Oh
He don't
yeah, that's
play, but
right. It's another
right,
6'9" guy. Like, hey, just in
right,
case one of those guys there, we gotta have another 6'9" guy.
right,
Um,
right.
and it's not a bad thing, but I, I think if you're gonna have that type of player, this is gonna sound crazy. I would They should get like Trey Young. Like he would be perfect for them
Yeah.
because you need a small, quick guy. And Van Vliet is not quick. He's a good player, but he's not quick. So then basically you could expose the fact that you could have a bunch of versatile, switchers and stuff. But anyway, so Chicago versus Miami in Miami was last night for the eighth seed. And very good game, rugged East Coast defensive battle. I mean, these guys were going at it. It definitely felt like a playoff or a game seven. And Miami was winning the first half. And, Thomas and I were texting each other, talking about the game. And then Billy Donovan made a great adjustment. He was like, all right, you know what? I'm done putting Pat Beverly in here who can't make a shot. Good defender, but 0 points for the whole game. I'm putting Kobe White in. And Kobe White was hitting He had like 4 3-pointers. He's hitting all these shots. Put Andre Drummond in. Game changed. They're up like 6, 7 points or something in the fourth quarter.
Hmm.
And then Jimmy Butler, who if and I'm glad I get to do this show because my friends know this about me. I mean, Jimmy Butler to me is top three most clutch players in the NBA. Period. I'm not talking about just
Yeah.
period. It doesn't matter. You could like KD and LeBron and Steph and Dame and all those guys. You can't name me three guys that are more clutch than that guy.
Jimmy
Doesn't mean
buckets.
doesn't mean he's the best player in the league because I'm not saying he is. But if I'm playing in a series, there's not another guy that's gonna play better than him. I'm not. You could play Kevin Durant. You could put, LeBron, and Jimmy Butler could go toe to toe with him, which is insane to me. He's not as talented as those guys, but his will. So he just
He got that dog in him, man.
yeah, he really does. He really
So
does. So man, he willed them. He got him back, and then Billy Donovan made the biggest mistake, and he pulled Kobe White out, and he pulled um, what's his name, Drummond out, and put those guys back in that couldn't score. And I was like, look, even if you can't defend, and it's not those guys weren't the ones even getting beat on defense. You have to make baskets. And they did
Hmm.
not score a field goal in the last 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Actually, they only scored 1 point in the last 2 minutes and 55, let alone a field goal. And the last person that made that field goal,
Yeah.
Kobe White. So, so
And I don't understand why how Ayo didn't play. Like, man,
no,
so,
I
I
don't
mean,
understand it either. I mean,
so
it's just very interesting. You gotta figure out, and I can't kill Billy Donovan, but he did the right thing, and then he didn't trust it.
yeah.
And sometimes you just gotta let those things ride. Play with the guy that's the hot hand that's getting you, where you need to go. So anyway, Chicago is out. Miami is the eighth seed. So Miami will be playing Milwaukee. And really quickly, here is the bracket. So we're gonna start in the East. You got Milwaukee is playing Miami. Games start tomorrow evening. Um, do you have any thoughts on this, Thomas? This matchup?
I mean, it's gonna be an interesting match. I just think I mean I like Miami, but I just see Milwaukee. If I had to take guess 4-2, that's just my
Wow.
prediction.
Yeah, I like how Miami plays. Um, but the thing that was telling is what we just talked about is Atlanta. Atlanta destroyed them on the boards.
Yeah.
Um, is nobody as big as
Oh
Milwaukee
yeah.
in the league. No one. You got Giannis, Middleton is like 6'9", Brooke
Yeah.
Lopez, Portis. You got Drew Holiday is like a great rebounding guard. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be problems for Miami. So I not only I think Milwaukee's gonna win, I'll be proud of Miami for winning a game.
Really?
And then it
Okay.
doesn't mean that Miami is bad. It's
Right.
just
For fun.
matchups. This is a bad matchup. Miami needed to play Boston because if they played Boston, I think that would have went seven.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was made 4-1. I think they're gonna steal a game, or two, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I think they could steal a
yeah,
game. I can give Jimmy one maybe,
yeah,
but it's gonna be
yeah.
really tough. And the key anyway, and I could be wrong. And let's say if it goes seven, here's gonna be the reason why. Just remember, you guys, when hearing this,
Mm,
Bam Adebayo. If Bam
mm,
scores 30 points and he actually is dominant, then Miami will have a chance. But I don't see that happening. Bam had what, one basket yesterday,
yeah,
won the other game, and he's not even playing the front line he's about to play in the next series. So
yeah,
he better
true.
figure it out.
Yeah, he's not playing Vucevic, you know what I'm saying? So, so,
Exactly. Yeah.
who, so yeah,
So what about the next series?
that's good.
I'll let you talk about it because like New York
It,
stand up. Like I'm Stephen A. Stand up. New York, just stand up, stand up.
that's gonna be a very very interesting series. I mean, it's the guard play. I mean, I because we have so many more brackets to talk about, but I see the Knicks winning the series. Just for me, it's just so and that's not because of the Knicks fans out there.
Yeah.
First of all, the Knicks are due. Plus, Brunson is I just think he's gonna have a great game.
Hmm.
And this is a guard play. This is the if you want to watch guards, this is the game certainly to watch. Atlanta too, you can say Atlanta, Boston, but this game is gonna be good to see. Guards and scorers. So, um, well, I
Yeah.
mean, so
Yeah. So, whew. I mean, I'm not Stephen A. Smith because he at least he admits he's biased. I'm definitely biased, but I could be less critical. So I think the series is gonna go seven.
I
Um,
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
it's a toss up. If I have to tell you who has a better roster, it's Cleveland. You got Donovan Mitchell is the best player in the league in the series. I mean that's we don't
Oh
have to
yeah,
argue that
yeah,
one. He's the best. So they got the best player. Their front court is so versatile. Um, our Knicks' strength is the offensive rebounding, and you got Jared Allen and Evan
Mobley.
Mobley,
Yeah.
who are great rebounders. So can they negate our offensive rebounding, which I actually think we will still do okay on the rebounding end. Um, their three, the fifth player is their like Achilles. You got Okoro, who's a defensive player. He's a good player. I like Isaac Okoro. I liked him coming out of
I
college.
thought he's out. Is he? He's playing?
He's gonna play. They said he's gonna play.
Okay.
He had an injury. Um, he be able to hit shots? I mean, because they're gonna need him to defend. He's gonna have to hit shots because that's what we're gonna give. I'm pretty sure the Knicks are gonna allow him to be the one to take
Hmm.
shots and try to load up on Garland and Mitchell. And then from the Knicks end, I expect Brunson to play well. I know Julius Randle's supposed to play. I don't know how healthy he's gonna be, but I expect him to be okay. I don't know how great he's gonna do. I mean, it's kind of tough coming back from an ankle. Um, the key for the Knicks, two keys. One, will Julius Randle be halfway efficient? Two, Tom Thibodeau. Tom
Oh, the
Thibodeau is
coach.
so stubborn,
Oh yeah.
and there, this is a series, and you have to make adjustments. So I think there'll be things that Cleveland's going to throw out at us that we're going to have to adjust. We might have to adjust our lineup. We can't just be stubborn and put the same guys in. Will he be able to adjust with the versatility we have on the roster? Because we have a ridiculously versatile roster, and not just play the same nine guys because that's the guys that he wants to play. I personally think he won't adjust, which is why I'm very worried about this series. And will RJ Barrett, who I have his shirt,
Show up.
show up? If he shows up, Knicks are going to win. So it's RJ and Thibodeau. RJ shows up and plays efficiently and doesn't turn the ball over 6 times, then then Cleveland's in trouble because that would be a third scorer that they have, and I already expect Quickly to play well. I expect those other guys. So if you have to if you pulling me, I'm actually thinking, I don't know. I think the Knicks do have a chance, but I'm expecting Cleveland to win the series,
Uh,
unfortunately.
if they can win today, whew,
Yeah, yeah,
that's gonna
yeah.
be because
Today and
the,
game
the
two, I'm gonna be at game two, by the way. I'm gonna be in
yeah.
Cleveland for game two, so I'm excited about that.
But it's always good to steal the first game
Yeah,
on the road. It's always good.
yeah.
And
So
then
then next series,
we
Philly,
could yeah, we could skip this one. It's a sweep. But go ahead. But go
Philly,
ahead.
Brooklyn. Yeah, I Brooklyn doesn't have a chance to win the series, but I actually don't think it's going to be a sweep.
I do, but
And then I actually think Brooklyn. Um, I actually think they have a chance to win a couple games. Um, it's going to be closer than you think because of the way Brooklyn's been playing and the versatility they have. Um, Philly doesn't have as much versatility. They clearly have the best player. They're going to win the series, but I think it could be. I think Brooklyn can win. I'm pretty positive Brooklyn's going to win one game. I think they could actually win two. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win two. But Philly 4-1 or 4-2. I mean, they're going to definitely win. I don't think there's a doubt. And then lastly, Boston, Atlanta. So what are your thoughts on that one
whew.
in the East?
Well, my wife is this is my favorite. It would be my second favorite series. The other one I'll tell you in a second. Well, when you
Hmm.
go through it.
Yeah.
So my wife is a Boston fan. I don't know how, but whatever she is. This is a very because Atlanta is like I'm trying to think of a team and NFL like Cowboys maybe. Just they got a lot of talent, but they can never put it together. I don't
Right.
understand it. So
Right.
so they could never. They have all these lottery picks and talent, and if you're playing 2K, like I'm not even joking, I'll
Yeah.
pick Atlanta just because their just rosters is nice. But
Hmm.
and they have a new coach. I don't know. It's just I don't know how they're going to guard. They're going to guard both Jalen Brown and the light skinned MVP to me, but I'm just kidding. Tatum, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see it. So for me to key, so I think Boston's going to win 4-1. I think Atlanta might win one game. If Atlanta wants to get in this game, right?
Hmm.
their front court has to produce. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just without it sounds obvious, but it isn't because their front court, Clint Capella, sometimes I forget he's in the league. Okay, so
Right,
so
right.
he like a perfect example. The last game, I mean, he had a dunk. I was like, oh, I forgot Clint Capella is actually in the game, right? Yeah. And then Collins is the most inconsistent player. Like sometimes, so Collins got that Carl Anthony Towns in him. Sometimes he don't like to
Yeah,
drive. I'm like, bro, like you're
yeah.
6'10". And then their top pick,
DeAndre Hunter.
yeah, DeAndre Hunter, and who's the dude they drafted last year? The top, oh my God,
Oh,
the
Jalen Johnson, is that his name?
no, the other guy from USC. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Okongwu.
Oh, Congo. Yeah, yeah. Congo and DeAndre are again too talented to not produce. I mean, I was just like,
Right.
what's going on here? So I don't know if it's a scheme,
Yeah.
but Atlanta. See, the difference is that Boston's bench players and their
Hmm.
front court is going to play.
Hmm.
So if they show up, that's the only way. So Trey Young, I'll say even if we didn't know the score at the end of the game, Trey Young could have 40 points. Okay,
Hmm.
could have 40 points. Actually, both of them, the backcourt can have 80, and they'll still lose by 20 because no one else on the team shows up. Right. So
Right.
so so
Right.
Atlanta, that's the only way Atlanta, and this is just to me, this is a bad matchup. All right, if Atlanta
It
played,
is.
it's just not. It's just it doesn't match well. So
Yeah, it's I agree with you. I think so regular season doesn't mean anything. So like for example, the Heat and the Bucks split 2-2. The Knicks won 3-1 against Cleveland. I think Brooklyn and Philly, those don't even count. I think it was like 2-2, but Brooklyn has a completely different team. And then Boston won 3-0 against Atlanta. Now, of all of those, I actually think the Boston Atlanta one is telling because Atlanta stinks at defense, as we already know, and
right.
they do not, and that's because they have Trey Young. He does not know how to play defense well. It doesn't even have to just be effort. It's just like being aware. Like if
Mhm.
they're doing a pick and roll, know that you don't stand in no man's land. You either gotta show or you gotta be able to recover to the person that's picking. And so Boston, I think they said they hit like 28 more three-pointers than Atlanta did in the 3 games. 28, that's ridiculous. It's like nine
Right.
more a game. And that's what Boston wants to do. They're gonna want to shoot. So I think they're gonna get shots, any shots they want from the outside against Atlanta. But I'm with you though. I actually do think if Atlanta plays hard,
Hmm.
their athleticism could give Boston some problems.
Yeah.
But Boston's gonna win, and
But,
I think they're gonna either sweep them or win
yeah.
in
Right.
five.
So I would love to do a session on Atlanta. Like I just look at we'll talk about a draft, but they got Griffin. They have so much
Yeah,
talent,
no,
but they need to like package a deal, like a five get team deal. I'm sorry, 5 player deal, and get a
yeah,
superstar. Like it's just I know they did that with Murray. I'm talking about like an actual superstar that's in the
yeah,
front court. So,
yeah.
but
This is
move
gonna be
on.
a good series. I'm gonna it's gonna even if it's like a sweep or like a 5 game series, I do think that that's gonna be very entertaining. Like
Yeah,
entertaining
score.
high level basketball, right? It's gonna be scoring. They're gonna get up and down athletes. It's
Yeah.
gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, just they just frustrate me, but yeah.
All right, so Denver, Minnesota. So Minnesota made it. They're the 8th seed. They get to play the number 1 seeded Nuggets.
Yeah.
So if anybody, my our avid listeners that have been on here, um, you heard how much I love Minnesota. I think how good they are. But one thing we did not talk about, because I was going to save it for this, is how stupid they are as well. You got a guy that broke his hand because he was mad he got his second foul in this. It's not like he got kicked out of the game. He got his second foul. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna punch the wall."
Yeah, you from
Jaden,
Washington, bros.
yeah,
Relax,
Jaden
man.
McDaniel, like, what are you doing? Now Jaden McDaniels, who's probably their best defender. He's like one of their X factors because
The glue.
he's the glue guy, right? They said he's got the most defensive plays against the top players in the league of any other player. He actually does the best against KD and LeBron, and they got all like all these people that he would probably have gone against Jamal Murray in this series. Now he's
Hmm.
out. It doesn't mean they're going to lose. Well, I mean, they're not. I mean, it doesn't mean they can't win any games. But that if they would have had him and Nas Reed who got hurt, I actually think that Minnesota could have won this series. I would have actually picked them to win the series if they had those two guys, but they
Hmm.
don't. And because they don't, I don't think they're going to be able to win 4 games against Denver. But I will tell everybody, and Denver's a good team. This is not a knock to them. I do think Minnesota can win too. I think that Minnesota is this going to be a fun series. It's going to they're an 8 seed because of injuries and stuff, but man, you got Mike Conley is such a good player. Again, Karl Anthony Towns, he's not going to have to worry about getting beat up. There's no who Phil. I mean, Denver doesn't have any physical players. Who they're going to put like Aaron Gordon on him? Like, I mean, that's not going to work. Again, Anthony Edwards could have. It's going to be a really, 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 really good series. 4-2 Denver, possibly 4-3. But I do think Denver's going to win that.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add on that one, or just
No, I'm so frustrated with Carl Anthony Jr. is as soft as my son's shit, bro. Like I'm sorry. He just frustrates the hell out of me. Honestly. So he just the softest. He's so frustrating to watch.
yeah.
And Ty knows this. And I don't mean to rip him apart. I know TnT, they did a good job ripping him,
Oh
but
yes, they did.
you just I don't know why. That's probably why Jimmy Butler want to get traded. The man thinks he's 6'3" and shooting three. He doesn't know he's 7 foot 245. And so
Yeah.
see the difference is the Joker is that kind of Anthony Towns Jr. when it comes to like he wants to shoot threes and drives it hole, but at least he drives it a hole and can
Yeah.
take it a hole and make some moves,
Yeah.
right? So we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they get swept. I mean, 4-2, cool, maybe that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get swept
It's true.
because they're just that team. You know what I mean? They're
I just think Mike Conley. I like I love Mike Conley so much, man. Like that guy, he's just a
yeah,
winner.
yeah.
He's a winner. So he's almost
He
like the
is.
anti right. He's like the
Right,
almost like the anti Minnesota Timberwolves.
right,
Like
right,
I
right.
was listening to the coach the other day, and that honestly that's why I got rid of D'Angelo Russell, and we'll talk about
Yeah.
that later. Um,
But yeah. That
he's
is
gonna
just
get you. He's gonna get you wins. He can get you wins, and that's why I think they're gonna win 2 games. But I'm with you. I think Denver's gonna win. They're better. And we'll talk more about them once they advance. All right. The next round, Phoenix Clippers.
that's gonna be the most interesting to me. That's gonna be the most interesting series in
Mm,
the whole series.
yeah.
But I'll let you go.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, I was gonna let you go, but
Oh no, okay, yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
so I say it's interesting because for first off, talent wise, I'm talking about just talent. The whole that this is by just all just superstar. There's superstars filled players in both these
Mm-hmm.
series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, in Phoenix. Phoenix being a 4 seed should be insulting. I honestly I thought they were going to be, but they should really be a 1, 2, 2, 4. It's just they just sometimes when you put a lot of good players together, it just in basketball especially one of the things about basketball
Mm.
is chemistry is key, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have the
Yep.
right chemistry, I don't care if you have 5 all-stars on a team, right?
Yep.
Speaking about 5 All-Stars team, just like the Phoenix Suns back in the day, right? They couldn't win the championship with all
Mm.
star players, with Steve Nash,
Mm-hmm.
Stoudemire, all that, but
Mm-hmm.
they had again one of the worst coaches when it comes to actual clutch football. I mean basketball. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I think LA might win this series.
Mm.
So LA might win the series because Phoenix might just choke. And that's my thing. And again, you got beta personalities. KD might get pissed off and forget to comb his hair one day, and somebody makes fun of him. I don't know. I'm just trying to be funny,
Yeah.
but him and Booker might not see the page. They don't got any like except for Chris Paul, but Chris Paul is getting old. He can't necessarily take over the game. It should be Booker or KD.
Mm.
These beta males on the team, they just no, I'm saying, I mean, DeAndre
Yeah.
Elton is another beta
Aiden.
male.
Yeah.
Aiden,
Yeah.
sorry, Aiden is another beta male. And LA, they just got to me. I like Tyronn Lue as a coach. I
Yeah.
think he's very underrated as a coach.
Yeah. He's top five coach.
And LA's been getting dogged on in the media. I mean, like
Yeah. Yeah.
they call PG. when you want to play. Kawhi, he's been
Hmm.
injured. Does he want to play? So
Hmm.
some motivation that goes through, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be, to me, this is my favorite series.
I I can't really dispute too much of what you're saying. I think this series is like an NBA final, NBA, Western Conference final series in the first round. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised whoever put it like this, whoever wins this series could easily win they win
Yeah.
the championship or get to the finals. Like that's how good these teams are. And they're 4-5. It's not like it's 1-2, it's not conference finals. Um, I think if if they were both completely healthy,
Oh yeah.
I think I would pick the Clippers too, actually, which is interesting. I didn't know you would say that. But Paul George not being there it's just a big,
Yeah.
big, big hole. But I don't think it's funny. Even without him, I do think the Clippers are they're not going to get ran over because they're so deep. They got so many wings. They're like, okay, well, I don't got Paul George. I got, you know, Terrence Mann, and I got, Robert Covington, and I got, Nicholas Batum, and they got, of course, Kawhi. Like, you got tons of guys
Yeah.
that, that can easily
But yeah,
step up
yeah.
and play for them. So
But
I
that's why I think they can win because Paul George's not there. Because
interesting.
they to beat Phoenix, you need to play team basketball. This ISO basketball that goes through,
Hmm.
and that's a problem with Phoenix. I think they play too much ice. They're going to play too much ISO, and I mean, it's just watching this here. That's just my thoughts. It's
Hmm.
gonna because Kawhi is a defender. Paul George is, his defense is suspect sometimes, but
Yeah.
but
But if you ask me, I think that Phoenix is going to win the
okay,
series, and I think it's going to be 7 games. I
okay. Well, at least we're on
six
the
or
same page.
seven. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely the best series. It's close though. It's close because one of the things, and we were talking a lot about this, and we're like 57 minutes in, but this is important. I think we want to get everybody ready for the long haul. Is Kawhi Leonard has been playing amazing. He's actually been the best player in the West the last 2 months, month and a half, because he's playing games. He's averaging like 30 some points a game. He's locking people down. He's Kawhi Leonard, and people forget because he hasn't played. So yes, they have KD, but Kawhi Leonard can do exactly. He's not. You'll see when you watch those. Kawhi Leonard is going to have a better series than Kevin Durant. I'm saying that right now, and that sounds crazy, but he will. He's going to average 30 some points a game. He's going to be playing good defense. He's going to have a better series than him. But will the rest of the guys, though, will Russell Westbrook not be Westbrook and actually make some shots? Will Norman Powell, who I was looking up, I forgot it, will he be able to make shots? Terrence Mann, Eric Gordon,
that's the
the
key. Yeah,
the Clippers, it's going to be depth. The Clippers depth, who's way more deeper versus the Phoenix Stars. That's why this is the most intriguing matchup: depth versus stars. Because once you get past number 6 for Phoenix, you're talking about me out there on the bench. Like,
or
you hope Josh Okogie can hit some shots, but like now we're talking about Josh Okogie being key. Like, I mean, Torrey Craig. Like,
right, right.
what are we doing?
Hey, yeah,
Bismack Biyombo.
you
Like,
forget, yeah, Clippers also got Bones, man. Bones
I
Highland.
know you got
So,
Bones, you got Plumlee, you got. I mean, there's just so deep. It's just how the Ty Lue's such a good coach. How will he use those guys? Throw different looks at them. So I do think it's going to be great. All right.
yeah, it's the next series too. Which one we got?
Yes. The next
The
series is the
Sacramento Kings and
Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors right here. So
yeah,
three. So we're in this bottom bracket. So 3 versus 6.
which is crazy. Can you? So,
It's so I gotta say this. So this is again where bias comes in. It's not even like I'm a Kings fan, but I have been all year. The first episode that we talked about basketball, what did I say when I gave you my recap of this year? I said, watch the Kings. The Kings were like the number 6 seed then, I believe. I said,
yep.
watch these guys like they are legitimately good. They're gonna make the playoffs. This is not a fluke. They're one of my favorite teams to watch. They have the best offense in the league, and they still do. At the end of the season, they maintain that the entire year. The number one offense in the NBA is the
Hmm.
Kings. And I it's killing me, but I feel like they got the worst matchup they could possibly get because their defense stinks.
Right.
And you're now playing Golden State. And I'm not one of those, oh, Golden State's just going to turn around and the regular season doesn't mean anything. I actually think you still have to play. But if your defense is not able to make them uncomfortable, I mean, Golden State is just so tough. But I still think this year, I actually think Sacramento's a better team. And
Hmm.
so it is very hard for me to think about this series objectively. Like my heart actually says that the Kings are going to win this series in seven. But my brain, I'm like, dude, it's like logically, it's like this is Golden State, and they're getting Andrew Wiggins back, and that is the key. They haven't had Andrew Wiggins, so Wiggins now can be a
Hmm.
person that can help, guard Deer because they really have nobody to guard De'Aaron Fox. You can't put any of the guards they have on De'Aaron Fox. None of
Oh
them can
no.
guard him. You can't put Draymond on him. You can't put Clay on him. You can't put Steph. They have no chance to defend him. He's like the worst person that they would want to see. They don't have the foot speed, but Wiggins could make it difficult for him. And so I'm going to pick Golden State logically in six, but I still think Sacramento's better. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
What was it's going to be interesting. Like I said, Sacramento's. I mean, we could talk. No, I actually like Sacramento back to Chris Webber days, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the battle. It's the battle of North Cal, right? So,
yeah, yeah.
but you again, playoffs, and I've said this, I think 2 episodes ago or last episodes. Playoffs,
Hmm.
the players just come out of nowhere to help out, right?
Yeah,
Do they play Mitchell? He's a great defender. Like, is he
yeah.
going to play more in this series because they got a lot
Hmm.
of guard play?
Hmm.
He kind of had a drop off, number 9 pick
Hmm.
draft, but I know Malik Monk. He's not the best defender, so it's
Hmm.
going to be coaching. I see them winning 4-2. Golden State's again. Bench is key. After they get to 7-8, this one I'm like, oh, who's going to be playing more, right?
Right, right.
So I see the Kings winning. And
Mm.
one thing I do want to say is that I think we talked about this before our podcast. The disrespect Fox has as a
Yeah,
guard in the
yeah,
last 2 years
yeah,
is crazy to me. I mean, I've always been a fan of him. Unfortunately, he was on the Kings. Now
yeah,
he's showing.
yeah.
And then the Kings also picking Murray was a great pick. And
Hmm.
people are like, why are you picking Kutcher? So
Yep.
they're picking Murray. So it's going to be a great series. But I see them winning 4-2. And
Interesting.
Golden State, please error. I can't stand Golden State. Get this error done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I also another key, which is why again, people that don't watch the Kings, they haven't, because Kings haven't been on primetime games. I think they have two games they were on like TNT or something all year. Um, Domantas Sabonis.
Oh yeah, yeah,
No
yeah.
answer for that guy. And so watching this series, just enjoy tonight. The game's on at 8:30 tonight, Saturday night. Man, it's gonna be primetime TV. I put it like this: I don't know who's gonna win the series, but I think Golden State's gonna lose tonight. At least game one. That's
Yeah.
gonna be Sacramento's gonna come out, show them what's up, and then we'll see what happens. All right. Last but not least, which is another interesting series, is Memphis Lakers. So what are your thoughts on this series?
Oh, gut. I mean, what it tells me is Memphis should win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lakers win. But I mean, Memphis is just the most another. These top teams are just
Yeah.
they intrigued me because there's playoff basketball and there's regular season basketball, right? Memphis
Yeah.
was an example of regular season basketball season, right?
Hmm.
Um, Grizzlies should win. I mean, it should be 4-1, but the Grizzlies again have players that don't like to show up, right?
Hmm.
Jared Jackson, I can't wait till we talk about, so Ty and I are gonna have an episode talk about the last 5 years NBA draft during the draft time.
Hmm. Hmm.
There are so many players that got drafted that should be so much better and they're, where they are.
Hmm.
So of course we know that Ja's going to do his thing, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then after that, it's like who else is going to step up, right? And in the Lakers, now that they're healthier, right? They got Anthony Davis back. LeBron is LeBron. You
Yeah.
can't ever take him out.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell, great trade. I mean, they got him for peanuts. He so
Right.
he's looking good. And then I mean, they Cleveland actually Lakers probably had the best midseason trades, like just getting
Hmm.
players coming in,
Hmm.
right? Hamache, right? All those guys, like so all those guys coming through. But again, I just see Lakers just getting a little overpowered on just scoring. And if you actually watch the Minnesota series, just in Lakers series, it was 65-80. Okay, at one point,
Yeah.
and the Lakers couldn't hit a shot until Memphis. I mean, sorry, until Minnesota decided to let them back in the game.
Right.
So we'll see. And then the key to me so I'll give you the key, and then I'll let you go. The key to
Hmm.
me for Memphis is Dylan Brooks.
Hmm.
Dylan Brooks gotta play basketball, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get don't be like letting trash talking like
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
Green get in your head, right?
Hmm.
Just play like you just play the wing you've been playing, play good defense. He's
Hmm.
gonna be guarding LeBron. My assumption is he's gonna be guarding LeBron, right?
Hmm.
That's so we'll see.
Probably. Yep.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
this one's another tough one. So D'Angelo Russell is the key.
Okay.
I feel like he's an enigma. He's got talent, but he goes ghost. He's the reason why Minnesota didn't beat Memphis last year because I thought they had a chance. They should have. They were it was 2-2 in the series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
That's
had a shot, and he just blew it. Like he couldn't play. He stunk against Minnesota the last game. They actually benched him. That's why we're talking about Dennis Schroeder. They need him to play well. They need another guy on the outside that is going to be consistent at the guard position to get them to play. I actually don't think he's going to play well. Um, so I actually think the series is going to go 7-2, 6 or 7. Um, I think I I'll put it like this. If the series if Memphis wins the series, I think they'd win in 6. If it goes 7, now you have the LeBron factor. And I do think Memphis, if it goes 7, I don't think Memphis would win the game because I feel like the people that you said that need to step up won't. Like Dylan Brooks will be in the talking
Mhm.
and all this other stuff. And um I think that the Lakers could win the series. So if you're gonna ask me to pick, um I think the Lakers are gonna win in 7.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
do. I do. And it's tough. I think not having Steven Adams and not having Brandon Clark for the Grizzlies means it's field day for Anthony Edwards. It's time for him to eat. He's just
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be,
Oh
and then
yeah.
LeBron going to the basket with nobody. I mean, not nobody. You still got Jaren Jackson, who's a great rim protector. Um, and also Memphis doesn't play that great against the Lakers. Every time I watch them play, they don't play that well. So I think the Lakers are gonna win series. All right. Well, thanks. That was a great long 40-minute preview, but a lot of NBA. This is the most exciting time, or one of the most exciting times of the year. Tom's was looking for a quote in there. The NBA's back.
Right.
Because
I was trying to find it, but I couldn't.
and I know people are big football fans, but I'll tell you, if you love sports and competition, the NBA is there. I mean, maybe next week, Tom, we should do an NHL preview because just for the people that watch NHL, because I know there's some people that do. Because
Yeah, yeah.
NHL playoffs is going to be good too, by the way. Um, so
Oh
we are
yeah.
looking forward to that. Thomas,
Mhm.
do you want to say anything? I know we're at an hour and
Yeah,
10
yeah.
minutes,
So
or
I
final
think
thought?
I think this is an important final thought. Just I mean, I might go a little political here, but maybe these young men will hear me.
Mhm.
what is up with these star players and guns? I'm
Hmm.
just so confused, right? So we can start with John Morant, right, with guns. I mean, we can go down the list of the cornerback for Vegas. I lost his name,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Antoinette or whatever. He
Hmm.
cornerback. He's talking about shooting people on Instagram. I don't know in Vegas, and then you got John Morant. Then you got Brandon Miller for Alabama, a top recruit, getting a
Yeah,
gun to Darius Miles, and a young lady gets killed because he's like, "Go get my gun." That whole fiasco, and then the latest with Mikey Williams, right? Mikey
yeah.
Williams. First of all, you're in San Diego. I mean, why you need to carry a gun? Okay, that's the first thing. You're 18 years old. You're a top recruit. You're going to go to Kentucky. You're going to be a lottery pick. I don't know where you're going to be, but I would say between in the draft between maybe 2, 3 to 12, right in a draft.
Hmm.
You're going to do well. Now you're going to lose your scholarship, and there's possibly going to jail. They're saying there might be some jail time from that. And I just don't understand these athletes. You guys, you're not. What's crazy, Ty, to me?
Yeah,
The players that are doing the guns are not even hood dudes, right?
yeah. Right, right.
That's the most wild thing to me, period.
Hmm.
So John Morant from South Carolina, I already told you, Ray Allen is from the same town from him. Brandon, no,
I
Tennessee's
know.
from Tennessee, he's from the Alabama, Tennessee area, and then these
Hmm.
guys, San Diego. I mean, it's not like they're going to bring. I don't know. It's because of stigma. I really think it's social media doing tough. You know
Hmm.
what's really tough? What's being tough is actually going in there and winning championships and
Hmm.
doing well and stuff like that. It is just disappointing to see that these players are now, I don't know, getting caught up in the hype with that, right? And
Yeah,
so I remember when the NBA did, I think is Lucas. I forgot his name. John Lucas. I'm sorry, John
yeah.
Lucas is he does his his
His rookie camp.
camp and,
Hmm.
and everything. I don't know if he continues to do that, but they might even need to do it at the college school level, right,
Yeah,
to
I
get
know.
these guys in there.
I know.
And this is where I respect like the Deion Sanders, like really have tough love, but it's not, it was crazy. It's not even guys in like real rough areas that need probably a gun because where they live, right? These
Hmm.
are AU people in the suburbs with guns. I mean, I just don't understand this notion that I have to be tough with that, right? It's really sad, and I know I'm rambling a little bit because I'm just disappointed with
Yeah,
where they're going. Is it the parenting? I don't know, but and they come from not broken homes. I'm not trying to
right, right.
insult other players, but these guys are not coming from broken homes. They're not
Yeah.
coming from rough areas. It's just beyond me. I don't know. Maybe they're playing too much Call of Duty. I have no idea. I don't know,
I
but
think
it's just
I think you hit it on the head with the Instagram and social media stuff. I think uh, it just seems different. We watched movies all the time, we were watching crazy movies of like, gun violence and all that stuff and but it was movies and I think Instagram it's like it's still fake, but it
but
seems like it's real and I think people feel like they need to show off like, oh, look what I got. Let me, like you said, John Morant's in the club. Let me look, you I got my gun. Like, what are you doing? Like, why do you feel like that's cool? Like, I don't, that doesn't make, that doesn't make you cool. Like, I'm not even saying that as the old guy. Like, I mean, I'm as a young pro, I don't even know, I don't know
right.
why you would do that. So yeah, it's very, 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 very disappointing. I saw that story and I was very sad. Like, what are you doing shooting at cars? Like, this is the outside, it just,
And he's gonna get some jail time. California doesn't play around, man. So
yeah, I know.
90
Well,
days, but whatever it is. But
Well, that's his mistake. Really quick for me, and I'm not going to spend that much time, but the whole Angel Reese, Jill Biden thing. It was sad uh, that it happened. I had a lot of arguments with folks about it. So here's what I think: Jill Biden, Jill Biden didn't. She doesn't. She's not a sports person like us. Like, let's just be realistic.
mm-hmm.
She's there at the game. She's like girl power, excited to see like all the the excitement for the women's game. And so she's like, this is awesome. I want everybody to come. It's so sad that, Iowa didn't get to go. They should get to come. Because she's like, she's not thinking anything about like tradition and the players and all that stuff. But she was wrong. And somebody has to be there and just tell her, like, look, ma'am, we don't do that. Like, you
Hmm.
need a sports consultant or somebody says, no, 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 we don't. I hear what you're saying, but they don't, that's not how things work. And the reason why, and Angel had the right to be upset. I did not like how she responded per se, but she had the right to be upset. I mean, you can't tell somebody to not be upset. She worked hard, and she had a point. If it would have been reversed, if Iowa would have won, they wouldn't have said, you should have invited LSU to the White House too. No way that would that have happened.
You don't
And
think
so,
so?
no, she wouldn't have said, "Oh, this was such a great game. We should invite LSU." She didn't say she wanted to invite South Carolina. And here's really the thing, as a sidebar. It wasn't Iowa, and she was like, "It's because of the race of their team." She's like, "No, no, no." She didn't want to invite Iowa to the thing. She wanted to invite Caitlin Clark, okay?
Right,
Because
right.
Caitlin Clark had the greatest tournament ever,
Yes.
ever.
Yep.
Period. Men, women, I don't care ever. You can't have 40-point triple doubles like it's like like you're waking up and you're eating a sandwich. Like that's
Hmm.
insane. So that's what she really meant. She was like, I want to recognize her, but she didn't know how to say that. And I
Right.
don't like the way people are attacking Angel Reese because if they would have, I actually watched women's college basketball. If they would have been watching, they would have seen that this is Angel Reese all year. She
Oh
has
yeah.
been the same player all year. You can go back to game 3, game 5. She's, does her little face thing and, look at the ring and doing a little dancing. Hey, it's DMV, in this area, it's ballers, this trash talking. You guys want to come watch some good basketball, come to the DMV and go watch high school or watch, AAU circuit. You will see a lot of Angel Reeses and all those people out there competing.
Right,
And that's
right,
all
right.
that was.
Yep.
So it's disappointing again that, a young black female had to um, deal with that.
Yeah.
And but it's fine. She's gonna get to go. And Joe Biden retracted and go from there. So
Well,
hopefully,
well. Also, Caitlin said she wasn't going to go to the White
yeah,
House too.
yeah. And that's
So,
and you brought the other point up is I also feel bad for Caitlin Clark. She doesn't deserve any of this. Like people are
yeah,
mad. They're like, oh, well, these winger. I'm like, Caitlin Clark didn't do anything. She actually answered the questions great. She
mm,
just don't hate Caitlin Clark because of what happened with Jill Biden. This has nothing to do with her. She's been upstanding. She's been, professional about it. She's like,
yeah,
I don't want to go. She's like, don't. She's like, don't be mad at Angel. She's like,
right,
that's what we do. We're allowed to be emotional. She's like, I'm emotional. She was the first one that did this in what's the name, the girl's face in Louisville, because the
yeah,
girl was talking trash in Louisville. She's like, okay, well, I'm gonna show you about this trash. I'm about to drop 39 in your face.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so let me add something, and then
Mhm.
I'm proud of myself. I'm going to talk about women basketball 2 weeks in a row, 2 times in a row. But one thing I'll add is this Shaq was talking about race. It's not race. It's actually about
Is it?
sex. Okay.
Hmm.
If males did this, it's okay. They do it all the time, talk trash. I
Yep.
don't care about the race. So we got to stop
Yep.
with the race bait
Yep.
here. It's
Yep.
it's
Agreed.
so irritating to me that
It is.
everything has to be political or race because we're so damn polarized in this country.
Hmm.
Is because women are not supposed to trash talk. They're supposed to be well mannered and team sport and high
Hmm.
five and all that stuff, right? And Joe Biden, I think she just same thing. She had a Clark had a great series, right? Like you were pointing out to, and show she's like, wow, she's so good. I want to also thank her, and then it brings to this participation awards BS that I always say, right? Like
Yeah.
like I would be insulted, like we lost. Like what are you talking about, right? So to your point too, but I do want to bring a point up, guys. We have to stop using race as like the first thing to jump into.
Yep.
It's more about again, unfortunately it sucks, but our society is very sexist. Let's just call it
Yeah.
out, right? When it
Yeah.
comes to sports, I mean, we can go down a list of stuff. But
Mhm.
you're not supposed to talk. You're not as a woman. You're not supposed to, really trash talk, and you're supposed to be good type. But if this was a male, if this was
Mhm.
Gonzaga versus like UNC or St. John's, I'm trying to pick the team that has the most, talk
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Oh, look at them! They're competitive, and they're
Yeah.
trash talking." And everybody would be like,
Hmm.
Gus Johnson would be like, "Look at just get all
Yeah.
excited and stuff like that."
Right.
Diggy V and stuff. So that's what it is, guys. That's the bottom line.
Yep. Yep.
And women continue to talk trash. I love it. Can't see me. That's one of the things I did back in the day. Is continue to talk trash and forget the media, forget the
Yeah.
hype, and just play basketball. That's
Yep.
it.
No, I agree. Couldn't have ended it better. I'm enjoying live your life, talk trash, be respectful, but hey, you're allowed to be able to celebrate, man.
Right.
Celebrate and talk trash. That's just part of the game.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you, Thomas, for another good episode. Thank you guys again. Like and subscribe. I've only seen a couple likes, but I know you guys are watching it. So hit the like button, please, so
Yeah.
that we know, and we will continue to have these episodes. So until next time, guys, have a great week. Enjoy the playoffs, and we'll have one more thing before the draft.
All
All right.
right.
All right.
Take care, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.